Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over my 10 most hated to play against decks. Doesn't mean I just hate them, I hate them completely. I just don't want to deal with them ever. It's more I don't want to be the one facing them. So I may play some of these decks actually. I may have played them for a bit. I personally have nothing against people who play it. Of course, everyone hates on True Dracos, and we all know that lovely person at the regional who's like, "Hi, how are you doing?" Shakes your hand. He's just great, and then you realize he's playing True Dracos, and you're like, "What happened?" You know. So nothing against anyone who plays this deck. If it is something that you play, don't feel bad. I play some of the decks that are on this list. It's personally, I do not want to go and face them in a regional. Preferably, I would play anything else besides what's on this list. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Alright, so I'll have honorable mentions right, next to number 1, but we'll go from 10 to 1, starting off with my number 10, so kind of like the just made it, Superheavy Samurai. And that may be a weird choice. You're like, why Superheavy Samurai? They do nothing. And I'm like, yeah, they do nothing. But the text on them, that sure is something. Personally, I'm the person who just reads the cards, just make sure. I know there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm playing Princess, so a lot of people are like, yeah, what's that do? And pretty much I'm like, it gets you to link 3, and they're like, okay. They wouldn't actually know what any of my cards do. They're just fine with whatever the hell happens. That's a lot of things. But if you're one of those people who reads the cards, you're like, I want to know what it does. Jesus, Superheavy Samurai, they have so many cards. A ridiculous amount of cards. They do just about nothing effect-wise. There's a bunch of random shit that's on there. You're reading off the whole Declaration of Independence, and then you get nothing out of it. That's the one thing that triggers me, because I'm going to have to do a lot of reading, and I hate reading. Even though I'm wanting to do it, I hate reading. Don't make me read. And otherwise, the rest of the decks are pretty annoying when actually playing them. It's more, I don't want to read your cards. I don't want to read your cards. Luckily, this is only like 10 because, it's random. You'll barely find anyone who plays Super Heavies. So, that's my number 10. I'll go into my number 9, which is something I'm playing currently, along with Princess. Paleo Frogs. I would not want to play them at a regional. You all know that one person plays Paleo. There's a few people, the Paleo players, that hide in the room. You're all scared about them. If you don't have something for it, that one Paleo player is going to sneak up on you, and you're going to be like, ugh. Sometimes there's like a more modern, form. Like Ultrageist is kind of like, Paleo, this format, but it's actually prevalent. Yeah, Paleos, they can be very annoying. If they open Swap Frog, that's something you generally just have to deal with. Like, getting it to grave, good. If they get dumps off before, it's almost like, okay, it fuels Rodin. What did I do? You have to get it banished really quick. If they open the other things, usually good for you, that's a dead card. But making Totally Awesome is just very powerful. Being able to steal your opponent's stuff, very powerful. It's a negate for anything, and it can steal it back. Just imagine, playing Altergeist, you're going second. You're like, alright, Lightning Storm. I'll steal that. If you blank me besides this Lightning Storm, I'll be able to Lightning Storm you back. There's a bunch of cases where that can, come into play. And once you set up a negate, it's like, negate off. You have to force the negate without using your negate, or the negate takes, you steal a negate, and there's 2 negate, you just lose. And then you back it up with a bunch of back row, and you're like, alright, so this bait, and it's like, okay, trap, no. It can be very annoying to play against. I know, ever since I moved from that deck over to BA, from BA. People are like, oh god, I have to play him. Christ, I really didn't want this match. They like me, but they're like, I don't want to play you anymore. You know? So that's why Paleo frogs are going to be my number 9. Going into number 8, Infernoids. Layer Infernoid especially. If you don't know what this deck does, it tributes your opponent's things once per turn for cost, which means you cannot really do anything about it. Unless you have some condition that says your opponent can't activate effects, your opponent can get rid of your cards. Oh, you make this card that says unaffected by card effects? Yeah, cost. Tribute it. It doesn't have to be affected by it. It's not the effect that's affecting it. It's a cost that says, I'm tributing you. Well, then again, you do have to be... Again, if your card is not dark, you'll be fine because it says unaffected, but otherwise, no, you can just tribute it. You can just tribute it, and that can be very powerful. If you don't know what the deck does, you will lose to it horribly. I know it kills most of my friends in regionals because they don't know how to play against Infernoids. Because we don't really have a Infernoid player that teaches people, yeah, this is how you deal with the deck, because if you have never dealt with it before, usually you will get smashed in by it. Very powerful. If you're playing something that depends on one solo card, you are obliterated by this deck because it just outs it so easily. But yeah, Infernoid, I think it's an easy choice for most people. I played it myself. I have a core of it still. Again, no hate for those Infernoid players or Paleos or Super Heavies. But yeah, on to number 7, which is Guru Control. Ooh, this is one of the decks I just don't like, actually. I'm sorry, I have people at locals too. That like, I'm not offending Super Heavy Samurai players at my locals. If people from my locals watch this, it got to number 7. Oh, they're going to be bad about the Guru pick. Yeah, I actually don't like them slightest. Like, alright. I think it's pretty autopilot. The only thing is, you're a ruling nightmare. That's another reason to hate it. If you're going to a regional, you're going to have to get like a judge over every freaking round. And at this point, the judge is like, I know you, I know your mother's maiden name, I know your social security number. Why am I back here at round 9? You're not even topping. I still come over to you, and there's still a rule that hasn't been... Like, the judges, they don't like you. I bet for judges, this is... Because they're like, Christ, it's only the Guru players that call me over. Yeah, like, it's a ruling nightmare first off, you know. There's just no thing that, like, mechanically works like that, so there's always a lot of questions. Of course, like, the stealing, you know, if you can consider this name, the super... There's so many rulings like that it's just a mess. Also, it's pretty simple. You sit on a Guru, you pancake it over, you flip it as much as you can, you never take it off the grill, you just try and keep it there as long as you can, and just use back row to say no. You'll have one negate with that, and you'll have more negates with your row, and your opponent usually just doesn't have anything, or they obliterate you. It's one of those decks which I think for a lot of people like a back and forth, so that's the reason why Guru's not liked as much either. But yeah, Guru, my number 7. Going on for number 6, Geralt. Again, you don't see it as much, so I'm not like, Geralt, why? But it's something where it will be pretty quick and painful. It isn't quick and painless, because you'll be salty if you lose to it, because it really isn't super skillful. You literally just summon a monster, set it there, and you're like, okay, can you play through this or can you not? And there's no way really telling. You can look at the cards in hand and be like, okay, so you search 2 fairies. You may have 3 more fairies in that hand I don't even know about. Yeah, like, the amount of cards you can discard, you can't really tell how many negates it will actually have which makes the skill from it way less. There isn't like, okay, I have 3 negates, so I have to do this, 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 and then I can get going. No. It's just, sometimes they'll have more negates than you thought, and you'll just lose. You really just have to guess on the number, and that's something I really do not care for. And again, it's you pretty much blind call. There's no smart, oh, I should negate here. Like maybe, you know, something with Paleo where it's like, okay, if I negate here, I steal it. You know, or otherwise you couldn't steal it before. Like if you set all your back row, you had 5 to set. You know, and yeah, you activate a spell and trap, you know, you won't be able to steal it if you negate it, so. There's like skillful play in looking at a negate like that, compared to Herald where you try to have enough negates that you completely just go through all your opponent's resources within that one turn, so you immediately do win. That's the reason, don't care for Herald. My number 5, that's going to be True Dracos. You knew this was coming, even though you don't have to see it as much. Thank the Lord, Banlist. I love you for that. That needed to be like that forever. Because True Dracos, again, doesn't take as much skill. I think if it takes less skill, I care for it less as a deck to play against, because I'm like, I'm getting beat by something that I'm not like, congratulations, you completely outplayed me. It's like, nah, you just smacked that thing down, you won, just because that, not really, you're like, big brain, you know? That's going to be a pattern with my list. And True Dracos, you literally just say chain. Oh, effect chain. Oh, you summon board floodgate. No. It literally just says, I'm going to flip this card. You're going to try not to interact with me, and when you do interact, I will get stupid card advantage, which is just completely free for like no reason, especially when you get rid of it and then it punishes you for getting rid of the resource that came in. It's a very powerful deck which has reason to be hate. It's just annoying. It's just annoying. I don't know what to say else about it. So I'll go into my number 4, which is Melodious. This is another one like Superheavy Samurai. What? Okay, Melodious. Explain that one. So if you don't know, there's a soft lock, and if you're playing a deck that can't out it, you can't out it, and you won't even be beaten fast. That's the sad part. Again with Herald, like you have an 18 attack body. It's like it's barely anything. Like and then you can summon with Melodious. Like you can easily summon stuff. But then your Melodious just set up a board and you're like, okay, so you're not going to interact with me. You must have something really good to out this, or just no, don't even think about it. Because it has targeting protection. I don't know if it has card effect protection. Probably not. It doesn't have card effect protection. You can't attack. You can't take damage. Yeah, you can attack, definitely. Yeah, it's like, it really doesn't get through your board. While it just says, no, you're not getting through mine. It's really just a stalemate, and like, just do something. If you're going to win, whoop my ass. Like, Christ. You know, I'd rather be less salty if I just, you know, tried to fight someone and they straight punch me. I was down in 1 count. At least I'm like in the hospital. I'm like, okay, whatever. Fine. Nah, Below just sits there. They're dodging and weaving. And you're like, are you going to attack me? He's like, nah, I ain't. And I'm like, then why are we fighting? Like, that's my feeling for Melodious. My number 3. I know, that was a weird way of explaining it. Even for me. Number 3, I'm going to trigger some people with this one. I'm sorry. I apologize, all you players. Most of you are nice. Most of you are very nice people. You're definitely not trying to be degenerates at all when playing this deck, unlike, you know, Herald and other things on this list. Dinosaurs. I really don't like dinosaurs. I don't think it's very skillful. You try to activate Soul Eating Overactor. You try to activate Miscellaneousaurus. You try to blow up as much babies as possible, and that's your win con. I think the ultimate conductor tornado like response window is sometimes like the most skillful part of it, and that's only very skillful in very specific amount of matchups. So most of the time it's very unskillful play. It doesn't have too many combo lines that you can really be like, all right, so I'm going to mess with this. No, it's just we're going to do the same thing pretty much. I don't think there's too much skill in it. I really don't care playing against it because it's the same old thing. You just see the same old cards. Yeah, that's my opinion on Dinos. I won't explain that any bit more. I already pissed them off. I already got a few dislikes because of that one. On to my number 2. Now these are pretty, scene picks. Inspector Border Stun. If you're playing combo, you break through it or you don't break through it. Going first or going second, If you're going first, sometimes you just set up a board. Okay, I'll stop your stuff. Boom, you win. You'll win or lose against it if you're playing combo. The only fun you may ever have playing against it if you're playing something similar to that. Like, I would say the Paleo Inspector Stun matchup is something that actually takes, a bit of skill. You have to think about where you're going to hit with your back row and all that. Even though, if you're siding heavy storms, it becomes who got the heavy storm game. Even then, it's not skillful. But, that's the only time where you actually get to progressively play against the deck. Otherwise, you're just sitting there like, okay, can you just beat me? 4 attacks and I'm done, man. Just get it over with. And it usually just ends up to, oh, I have to stall out until I get this. Luckily, it's not as pervasive as it really is. There's only that one person, and if you're at the bottom tables, you then play him and you're like, but it's something that seals in your horrible day of just not opening that one card that wins you the game. Not opening Swap Frog, Paleos, and then you go and you're hitting bottom tables, and then you play that one guy playing Inspector Stun, and you're like, oh, great, and I still don't open Swap Frog here. It's a enrager compared to other things. You'll just play it, and it's like, oh, you'll already be tired. You usually don't even play it round 1. If you play round 1, you maybe be able, whatever, brush it off. And my honorable mention is going to be Psy-Frames. The reason I'll give Psy-Frames the benefit of the doubt and not put them in is because I think it does take skill. It does take skill to start up with Psy-Frames. When you don't have the Link monster out, you can't activate them all. You have to activate just one, and you have to make sure that one does its job. If you don't have Overload, which is a continuous trap card, so it means you can't search with Trap Trick. There's not too much consistency to that card. You have to be very careful with what you're negating, and you have to be really smart about it, because most people do know what Psy-Frames do, and it's very easy to read. Okay, if all the Psy-Frames say if you control no monsters, if I keep the driver up with the 0 defense, I'll be able to just play my stuff after you're negate. So that's why I do give Psy-Frames the general 11th spot, because it does take a bit of skill, even though it's annoying as hell. It's so bad. It can be toxic as hell for certain decks to play against. But yeah, you do have to be skilled to play some Psy-Frames. Especially since there's really no push with it too. It's almost worse than Herald sometimes. And for my number 1 choice, it is going to be Mystic Mind Stun. I think y'all seen it coming. Mystic Mind is just horrible design. I don't think I have to explain it too much. I may just wrap the video up here. Mystic Mind, done. But, it really just limited deck design. Sekka's builds were okay, now we just have to side deck Spell and Traps that remove this back row, because if we don't, we'll immediately lose if we ever play Mystic Mind in a regional event. And it's something you have to gamble with Monster Mash decks, Or, you know, pseudo Monster Mash, where you barely played anything. Maybe you just played, like, a few low count of Cyclones inside of the rest. I don't know. Something like that. And it was like, okay, this here, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. It limits the deck design you are actually able to do. And it really made Sekka's Light, like, a horrible card, because it's like, okay, if you're playing this in your deck, you now just lose to this, inherently. A limited card design, you can't choose to be like, okay, I'll play my spell and trap removal in something like Topologic Bomber. It's like, no, you have to play spell and traps that remove spell and traps. Yeah, that's my reason for really hating Mystic Mine. I can go way more into it. It's Mystic Mine, come on. It's more explanatory than most. So, with that, I'm done with the video. That's the things I really don't like to play. If you play these decks, don't be offended. I probably like you as a person. You're probably great. You're probably cool as hell. There's many cool True Draco players, but oh my god, I don't want to play you. I really don't. You know? That's the one thing. I think we all have that one person where we're like, you're a good friend of mine. I don't want to play you. My friend, Bobby, you know, the Miasma person. I have him on for some deck profiles. He has the Guru one on my channel. I don't want to play against him. I love the man. I really don't want to play against him. So please don't take any offense. I remember the last controversial video where I put controversial right in the title. Dislikes. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I said something stupid, but, like, at least I said controversial. I think this will be a stupid choice. I have prefaced it, and they still disliked. I'm like, man, why do you gotta do me like that? But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you did like and enjoy. If you are a, you know, subscriber, you watch my content regularly, I'm sorry for the lack of uploads. You know, schedule's busy, but the quarantine now, we're good. I can do stuff during the quarantine, you know. And I did have my wisdom teeth removed, so I finally, like, recovered from that, and now I can do stuff during this quarantine because I got it right at the start. So yeah, thank you for supporting me. I'll have more videos out. Hopefully I'll have a video out the week after this one. So if you are new and you still listen to this rant, thanks. Subscribe. There'll be a new video next week, hopefully, for you guys to enjoy. Yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you liked and enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you did enjoy. I also have a Discord server where I post updates about what's happening, give previews to what content I'll be releasing, and make exclusive videos for you guys. So if you have the time, you can go check that out, link in the description. Thank you.